Today is such an exciting day because even as the snow falls, we are dividing our glorious organic ginger hands, and this is seed stock. We are going to be growing this ginger, and if I cut them well, we will harvest even more ginger this fall. So I'm excited to show you exactly why we do what we do so you can do it at home as well. So yes, here are the two key things right off the top. You need at least 3 eyes, and you need a solid 3-inch piece of ginger for the optimum vigor. So let's break those down. 3 inches is more or less obvious. The size itself, that's pretty self-explanatory. The eyes, on the other hand, are very much the tricky part. So let's break it down. Jump on in. Where are the eyes? The eyes are the growth points. So they're often at the tips. So you see here's one here, there's another just starting there, and there, and there, and there. This, by the way, is not average ginger. You'll never find ginger like this in a grocery store. Grocery store ginger is food stock. This is seed grade, amazing ginger stock from our dear friend Howard in Hawaii. His glorious organic farm he's been growing ginger, seed stock ginger, since the early 80s. So it's the real deal, and it is so alive, unlike anything you'll find at a grocery store. So when you get it from us, you'll often get it in these huge, beautiful hands, which you could plant this entire thing, but if you divide it well, you will have that much more ginger to harvest this fall. So when you get your ginger, and by all means take a look in the grocery store, and often organic ginger will sprout and you can grow it. It doesn't have the vigor, but you can totally grow it. But take a look and you'll get to see where those sprouts are really emerging. And so then you want to look, and yes, like 3 is the minimum number of sprouts that you want to have on your ginger piece that you're planting. Now you take a look at this little piece, for example. There are 1, 2, 3. There's actually 4 sprouts on this, but I just know from experience, this little piece, it's maybe just over an inch. That is it's not going to have the same amount of vigor as a larger piece, even though the sprouts are there. So they have the apical buds, and they will rise and create leaves, and they'll generate sunlight, sugars from sunlight, the miraculous phenomena of photosynthesis. This piece isn't going to have the vigor because the ginger rhizome itself is so small. And so take a look how I'm going to cut it, because how you cut it makes all the difference. So I'm going to take a look, and this larger piece is really beautiful. And there's 1, 2, there's 3 nice eyes there, and there's 4, 5, and so another piece of this, you want to make the smallest cut possible, because ginger takes about a week to heal over. You don't want to plant freshly cut ginger right into your potting mix, soil mix, because it could very easily transfer fungal, bacterial diseases in that, pathogens in that context. So you want to just like if you cut a potato, a seed potato, you want to let it heal over. Potatoes just take a couple days. Ginger takes a few more days. And so with that piece, I'm going to go laterally across, making the shortest possible cut. Dun, da, da. And so you see I have a little longer than 3-inch piece, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sprouts, but if I'd cut it down the middle here, for example, I would have gotten 2 pieces, but neither of them would have flourished as vigorously as it entirely. So those are some of the details. I also, if you're cutting quite a bit of ginger, get some isopropyl alcohol and dip your knife in between each cutting. And granted, we're cutting thousands of pounds of ginger, so it's really important for us to not be spreading potential diseases. But if you're cutting even more than a couple pounds, I highly recommend it. Ginger at this stage is basically its most sensitive, most susceptible to diseases. So here I'm going to jump back into this glorious hand and take a look. I have a really nice sprout here, but then the next apical buds, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is awesome. I just need 3, but here's that smaller piece. So I'm actually going to go and make a cut here so that I can have get my full 3 inches, and then I have more than 3 buds, which is awesome. So And oh, I'm so tempted to put this other sprout in that other one, but I'm not going to. I'm going to make a little smaller cut. And here's another little facet, friends. Sometimes, these eyes do not always, I'll just clean my knife real quick. Sometimes these eyes are going to grow. Sometimes they're not. And so the more experience you have with these beautiful hands of ginger, I wish you were here to smell it with me. The more experience you have with it, the more you'll begin to see. So take a look. Some of them are really obvious, like here and here. Those are really happy buds. And you can see they're alive. They're even kind of tinging green under the surface. Other buds, like this one down here, has been pretty thoroughly damaged, and so it's apical bud. It's definitely like sinking back into itself. Here's another one that was a beautiful bud, but for whatever reason, it got a little bit of damage. And so in my experience, these damaged buds never regrow. So as you're counting 1, 2, 3 buds, never count anything that even looks vaguely close to being compromised. So even if it's a question mark at all, just don't even consider it. It's not worth the risk. So have so much fun, friends. I just will simply set these on a cookie tray and leave them direct sunlight. Honestly, dark, it really doesn't matter, but warmth is important. And if you can have a little bit of airflow, that is also great, but err on the side of dry so that they'll actually heal over. And as soon as, because you can see, it is bright and fresh. You can almost see how it glistens. This is a wound for real. I mean, you just cut this living thing. So when you're healing your ginger, just be sure that there's good airflow, plenty of warmth, and in a place where you can keep an eye on it. So honestly, sunshine, darkness, that doesn't so much matter. It matters more that you have it in your attention and that you're basically checking in on it every day. And as soon as, it smells so good, as soon as the glossy cut has thoroughly dried, at that point you can plant it. And the sooner you plant it, the sooner it's going to be growing. The sooner it grows, the more abundant ginger you'll harvest. So there you have it, friends, a few keys to keep in mind as you're cutting some glorious hands of ginger.